My name's Ian Seabrook of the HubNut YouTube channel, and I'm here to talk about the origins of my 2CV history, a fascination that has led to me owning these quirky French cars for over 25 years. Where and how did it begin? Just before we get started, a big thank you to Revs Limited for hosting this weekend of motoring merriment. I think we all need something a bit brighter in these times, so well done, Rev. And don't forget to check out Mission Motorsport. Open another window, go and have a look in a moment. Search for Mission Motorsport. They do some great stuff and I'm very happy to be supporting that. Moving on to my 2CV history. It all began with some books. So let's take a closer look. So here are the books that made my childhood. One is 101 Great Marks by Andrew White. And the other is the Classic and Sports Cars, A to Z of Cars, 1945 to 1970. We'll start with this book because I think I had it first. This is actually my second copy. Sadly, I lost the first copy some years ago, but if we skip through to the Citroen page, here is a picture that made me sit up and think, oh my gosh, these strange little Citroens look an awful lot of fun. But yeah, that body roll had me intrigued. And I know it's a Diane rather than a 2CV, but they are very much siblings. If we jump into this book, no, we don't want the Ferraris. This book I've had since 1988, so it's in rather poor state. But if we find the Citroen page, here we go. Here's another picture that just made me sit up and think, oh wow, these are cars for me. But yeah, there's a photo taken when this car was still very young, because of course the 2CV was still in production back in 1988 when I got this book. And again, it coloured my thinking. So I was the only kid at school who wanted a 2CV. Everyone else was dreaming of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, but I kept my dreams humble, which meant at the age of 18, I achieved my dream. That is my first 2CV, Sweet Pea. Sadly, not much left of her. She's got a dent on the rear wing because she'd been pushed over while I was working a night shift somewhere. That wasn't very pleasant. That was the very first 2CV I ever drove. It was the very first 2CV I ever went in. And as an 18-year-old, I was just blown away. I was just like, this is so different, yet so much fun. I had so much fun in that car. I'd have my friends standing up in the back, health and safety gone out the window. We'd hurtle along country lanes. It was so much fun. And my friends learnt that 2CVs are fun as well. That first one, sadly the body rotted and the running gear went under this one, my second 2CV. And from there, I was lost. I was completely lost to the breed. Now this 2CV we see in front of us here, this is my 1986 2CV Dolly that I bought in 2000. And I've rebuilt it twice. We've been all over Europe. Last year, no, not last year, 2 years ago now, we went to Croatia via Slovenia, Austria, Germany, France, Belgium, even the Netherlands. We did some insane mileage together. And that's really what these cars are about. It's not just that the engineering is brilliant, and it is brilliant. You've got this remarkable interconnected but independent front and rear suspension with horizontal cans here under the floor. There's where the springs live, in this big can, and you've got tie rods connecting to the axle arms, rather like a Formula 1 car with its push rods, I suppose, on the suspension. But so soft. I'm just going to put that down so it doesn't fall off as I demonstrate just how soft 2CV suspension is. And it makes them supremely comfortable. It makes them hilarious fun. When you're cornering in them, like on my hoodie here, they roll on the door handles. It's amazing fun. And my 2CV is not in the best condition. She never has been, because I use her all year round. And I've never been afraid to take her anywhere. I've had so many adventures. And through the car, through the club, the De Chevaux Club of Great Britain, I've made so many lifelong friends, had amazing times. And that all stems from the fact that I saw some pictures in some books and thought these cars look fun. And this one really got its teeth into me. I'm not really sure how Elly the 2CV managed to make such an impression on me, but by the time I bought Elly, I think she was about my 12th car. Bearing in mind I was still 21 at the time. I was hopeless. But somehow this one got her teeth into me, and I've now had her for over 20 years, hence the Ellyversary hoodie I'm wearing. But that is the origin of where that all came from. It all stemmed from reading a book. And it saddens me slightly that perhaps kids today won't know the enjoyment of just sitting and reading a book like this for hour after hour. Look, I mean, it's held together with hope and masking tape, very old masking tape. But yeah, it just made such an impression on me. So back in 1996, I paid £650 for this 2CV. Back in 2000, I only paid £450 for this one. They were dirt cheap, they were bangers, they were deeply uncool. Everyone would laugh at them until they went in one and discovered just how much fun they were. They were of the same stock as Ladas and Skodas and Yugos. They were joke cars because in Britain we're absolutely obsessed with class, and these were seen as cheap bangers owned by idiots and hippies. And perhaps I was young and idiotic and hippie-ish in those days, still slightly these days to be honest, but I could see beyond the jokes, and I'm very glad I did. I've often done this. I mean, you look at my cars, I've got a Daewoo Matiz, I've got an Invacar, a Reliant Fox. These are cars that were never seen as cool in the slightest, and I was all the more fascinated because of that. If someone says don't be interested in something, it makes me more interested, especially if the only reason is coolness, whatever that is. I've never much understood coolness. Of course, the 2CV has persevered, and they are now fashionable, they are now cool, they are achieving classic status. But yeah, back when I got into these cars in the 90s, that certainly was not the case. And if we take a look inside, we can see just how flimsy and minimalist they are. Mine all the more so because some things aren't quite as attached as they should be. But here on the dashboard, look, you've got a fuel gauge and a speedometer. That is it. I've added a little voltmeter to tell me what's going on with the charging, because otherwise there's nothing. We've got warning lights for the hazard lights. I've got the battery disconnected. That tells you whether you've run out of brake fluid if that light comes on. That one's oil pressure. And this one, the single speed wipers. You got simple heater system here. You got hot or cold, up or down. That's the umbrella handbrake, which isn't currently deployed. And this gorgeous little fascinating push-pull gear shift that just obsessed me as a child. I was like, how does it work? We're in first gear at the moment. That's second gear there, third gear, fourth gear. It's simple. It's a proper little rifle bolt action, especially going second to third, which you do, a fair bit in cars as you're going into corners. And it's delightful. Really good synchro mesh on second, third and fourth. There is none on first. We've got disc brakes at the front, so it actually stops really well. Yeah, it's just fun. An absolute abundance of fun. Of course, we've got the canvas roof, which we can roll back to enjoy precious sunshine days. Us Brits do love a convertible. And that's something else to consider with the 2CV. It was at its most popular in the UK in the 1980s. The colourful Dolly, the Charleston. I don't know what it was with us Brits in the 1980s, but it got innovative new cars like the Ford Sierra, Peugeot 205. And yes, we were, a bit interested. But we also loved French cars from the 1930s, effectively. That's when the 2CV was conceived. We liked the Mini, which began production in 1959. And the Renault 4, the Land Rover. We were obsessed with old vehicles. The Ford Capri. We were the only market for the Ford Capri after 1984. No one else wanted them. Everyone else had moved on. Not us Brits. We just like things that are a bit different. And yes, the 2CV definitely represents the face of that. But yeah, I can't fault these little cars. They're so hardy. The original engine in my 2CV did 170,000 miles. Bits of this 2CV, the Speedo head, are now on 220,000 miles. So they do the miles. I've rebuilt this car twice because of rust. I've done all sorts. It's, yeah. I love them, and I hope you like them too. So yes, thank you for watching. Do head to HubNut on YouTube if you want to see further videos of my merry fleet. But otherwise, check out the Mission Motorsport page and stay right here on Facebook because they've got a whole weekend of fun videos. Thanks for watching. See you again. Farewell.